We're on page 322. הווה זהיר איפה שלא תדבק נפשך לתענוגות העולם. Be careful not to allow your neshama, your soul, to cling to the pleasures of this world. Notice he doesn't say not to enjoy the pleasures of the world. Not to cling to them. There's a difference in clinging to someone and being with someone. על ידי שתצמצם את להיטותך אחריהם, you should limit the energy, the effort that you put into finding worldly pleasure. ותכשיר עצמך להסתפק בהכרחי. And train yourself to be content with what you need, with necessity, not with want. People spend a lot of time in their life running after all kinds of pleasures. Every person is different. For some people it's money, that's their pleasure. For some people it's fame. For some people it's alcohol. For others it's man or woman, depending on who they are. For other people it's all vacations. For some people it's food. For others it's candies. Everyone's got their thing that they're running after. Those things are not, with the exception of one or two, are not innately bad things. But when all your energy goes to that pursuit, you leave very little energy for anything else that's positive. You ask, how much time do I put into my day to make money? And if I use that money for things that are of the proper motivations, if I use my money for good things, then the hours I put in my day to make money actually means that I'm putting hours towards spiritual endeavors. But if making money is just so I can go get shots in the bar after I finish work, or if it's to go party with friends in Tijuana over the weekend, which I found out is a huge trend in San Diego, so now I'm finding these things out. Or if it's to go on that vacation, so you could come back and brag to all your friends about that trip you took to the Bahamas or wherever else you'd like to go, then your pursuit of money is just that. It's a pursuit of more worldly pleasures.
You know, there's a real problem in that when people, like when I first started studying many years ago, when you see content with little, abstinence, you think in terms of Christian terms of vows of poverty and vows of celibacy and living like a monk in some,
I once spoke
state
to
of denial
about this. Pelz had a very interesting answer. He said most of these works were written for healthy people. And so healthy people, and I'm talking on a wholesome kind of healthiness, not just physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. A healthy person can cut back on something without being broken by it. The world in which we live, people are so not healthy, and so many. One person can have so many maladies inside of them that it's almost like anything that they're going to change in their lifestyle could literally wreak havoc on their whole being. And so we read these words, but it's important, like you said, we're not trying to bring about Christian concepts of asceticism or abstinence or even contentment. A healthy person, you know where you see this? You see, Shulchan Aruch suggests that a mother should nurse her child for 24 months, 2 years. It's not a law, it's a suggestion. And the rabbis say, well, it depends how healthy the baby is. There are some babies that may need to nurse for 3 years, and a baby that needs to nurse for 1 year. And everything is based on what you see in this child. Okay, I'm putting aside the Kabbalists who talk about 24 whole months and what that does to the mother, Kabbalah. This is not what my mode of discussion today. A lot of things that we did in the past, we did when people were healthier. When people were stronger, not just physically, also emotionally. People are literally messes. I don't know how to say them. And the more I work as a rabbi, the more I discover that people that otherwise look happy and have families and children and jobs and everything that you would think makes them happy, are living in such a place of literally walking around on the brink of despair every single day. And then, like you mentioned, you're going to throw them into some kind of, okay, now become orthodox. And on top of that, get rid of all the things you like, Throw away all the things you enjoy. Focus on everything you don't like. Go live in a cave somewhere in Sfat, and then you'll find happiness. Happiness, suicide is not happiness. Destroying one's family is not happiness. In fact, I just today was talking to a colleague who said, why is it that in a yeshiva that promotes people returning to religious observance, would not the mitzvah of kibud avim be the flagship mitzvah? That how many people do we know? They go to somewhere, 2 weeks later they come back to visit their parents, they don't eat their house, they don't drink at their cups, they don't use they can't, they became too religious overnight. That's an unbelievable thing. What about one of the 10 Commandments? Respecting our parents. Doesn't mean do everything that our parents ask us to. They also have a God they have to listen to. But to build that into our, because we're lacking a lot of goodness in this world. He also hints to this now. He says, "Ki tanugot hanalu hem michshol leyoter gadol, kmo shever lecha beperek haprishut." The things which you pursue oftentimes lead you to places that are really bad for you. You think, hey, I could be me and connected to Hashem. I love my 64-ounce ribeye steak on every single night of the week, dripping with fat off of a grill, with, I don't know, whatever else people eat, mashed potatoes and margarine, and there are people that this is their pursuit of their life. That's all they live for, is this exact picture. Zev, nobody was talking about you, don't worry.
I'm not identifying with that.
But what you see, this person thinks, okay, so I live a spiritual life, I pray 3 times a day, I wear kippah, tzitzit, mitzvot. He doesn't even begin to realize that this pursuit is holding him back from so much greatness. It's just a piece of meat and potatoes, no? It's your obsession with it. I'm not here talking to you just about what your health may look like after 365 days of this special diet in a row. But when you focus on something, where are you running to? Ask me, where are you going to? Where are you hurrying to? I'm running to go visit my parents. Oh, see, you're running for a good reason. I'm running to the casino to go gamble. Don't run. You should walk so slowly you'll never make it there. What are you running to throw away all your money that you made? I know a man who told me that recently he blew on gambling $80,000 in one day. In one day. Yeah, $80,000 is, you can live
for a year or two.
A year. 2 even, depends who you are and how you are. In one day. On a stupid horse. That's what you decided to, unbelievable to me. People don't realize the things they get caught up with. How it really takes away from who they are. ודע כי אי הסתפקות היא הסיבה היותר חזקה לכשלות האדם בעבירות חמורות והזנחתו את מרבית המצוות הגדולות. Lack of contentment in life is one of the greatest causes for people to transgress avirot and to completely neglect mitzvot. How so? I'm not happy with myself. I'm not happy with the things that I have. I'm always on this pursuit for more and more and more. I'll do anything it takes to get it. A drug addict will do anything for the next fix. Doesn't make a difference. Kill his own mother. Shem Yishmo. They open up the news, you see stories all day long.
Yep.
We always pick on the drug addicts because they're the most obvious of addicts. But a lot of other people are addicted to a lot of other things. And they'll do anything it takes to get to that next addiction. And the person has to wonder, how can you really be focused on a life of Torah mitzvot, of connection to Hashem, of spirituality, when all you're thinking about is fill in the blank, whatever it would be? It's a real question. כי מי שמטפח תקוות גדולות בענייני העולם הזה, because somebody who, I was asked the guy, what do you want to do with your life? It was a high school kid, 16. I want to get rich. I said, okay. What happens when you get rich? What are you going to do? I'll get richer. Yeah, and then what? I don't know, I'll have so much money. And then what? This poor guy's whole life is just to reach a place where he won't know what to do with himself once he gets to that place. Chances are he's going to spend his whole life and he won't get rich, because most of us don't get rich in our lifetime. He's going to reach a place where he has what he needs, but he'll never be happy. He can have 3 cars in his driveway and a house in university. Okay, so it's not overlooking the water in Hawaii. That's true. You're right. He has to drive his own car. He doesn't have a driver. That's right. Private chef. He has to cook his own food. And he'll never be happy. Doesn't make a difference what he has, because his whole life is in pursuit of things that he will not reach, probably.
Or marry somebody that he thinks is very beautiful and then has a multi-million-dollar divorce because the person inside isn't
It's not beautiful.
as in the outside.
I should know the wisdom of this is when people are in relationships with each other just because of their looks. I say just because you're allowed to like the way a person, you're in a relationship with looks, yeah. But people change. People get older. People get fatter. People get skinnier. People's hair colors change. All kinds of things happen. If that's what all of your relationship is dependent on, the beauty industry in this country is a huge industry. To give you hair colors you don't really have. To give you nail colors you don't really have. To give you skin colors you don't really have. To give you so many plastic surgery. I just spoke about plastic surgery. It's literally destroying your body because you're not happy with the way your nose looks. Listen, I'll tell you, there's a beauty in plastic surgery too. There used to be kids. The kid was born with a nose on the other side of his head. Okay, they're nice.
Burn victims.
Yeah, burn victims. Terrorist attacks. I'm not talking about this. My nose a little too much pointed in that direction. I can't sleep at night. I can't breathe. I can't go outside of my house. This is a sickness that a person has.
Started in high school when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The Jewish girls already were getting their nose jobs.
Even, I'm going to tell you, my wife says I shouldn't say this so much because it's not fair, but there are people who can't leave. I had a person, halachic question that asked me this Yom Kippur. They wanted to leave their house to come to Beit Knesset, but they couldn't because they cannot leave their house emotionally until they put on makeup. And they wanted to know, so what kind of makeup could they put on Yom Kippur? I'm not here talking about a regular Shabbat. This is what kind of makeup? Literally layers and layers and layers of makeup. To the point where if it got too hot in the shul, probably her face would melt off. Yeah, that probably what it would look like. The cheek would be drooping on the floor. It would be this.
What about the day before? Just sleep like this so it doesn't get spoiled.
But it's not their fault. I don't know who conditioned, in which community, in which schools, in which friends, in which parents. But this person is crippling themselves by saying, I can't leave the house until I look like. Which means if I have to run out of the house for whatever reason, I woke up late, I'm going to have to be late to work. Which means if I'm late to work, so I'm going to lose money, I'm going to get in trouble by my boss. There's a whole chain of events you trigger, all because I was picky about one thing. Now, am I allowed to look nice when I leave the house? Absolutely, you're allowed to. The question here is, are you able to function without it?
Does this person go to shul on Shabbat? Probably not.
I have a very hard time with it.
But Shabbat is one of the ways to break addictions because you can't smoke. You can't do a lot of things that people are addicted to.
You're right, but it's true.
You can.
It's true. Now, holding back mitzvot, there are all kinds of mitzvot we wish we would do, but because we are too busy with something else, we just ignore them. We forget about them. We like to drink. I'm going to drink alcohol. So a person has wine during their meal, they wine and wine and wine. And then what happens? They're too tired to do Birkat Hamazon. They're too drunk to be nice to somebody. I'm throwing it out there. So people tell me, I drink respectively. Okay, I'm going to be nice.
The Kiddush Club.
But the truth is, how much do you... the Kiddush Club is a great example. I like my whiskey, my vodka so much, I'm willing to miss Musaf for it. And there are many synagogues like that. The people, literally the synagogue empties out for a certain period of time, so people can go have their shots in the kitchen and come back. And they lose out on tefillah for it. And he says the biggest mitzvah that a person breaks is essentially the need to study Torah. We must study Torah with our free time. But if all of our free time is spent in the pursuit of happiness in places where we probably won't be successful finding that happiness, so not only did we waste time, not only did we waste Torah time, we wasted Torah time for nothing because we didn't even come out rich on that. We didn't even get what it is that we were actually looking for. And for what purpose? Torah is an incredible thing. Torah is a very broad word. You can study all kinds of Torah. But it should be a regular thing for you in your home to have books that you read, that you study, that you learn. It's not just when you're falling asleep in bed or a nice novel that came out, but a time where we learn. We had now somebody came to visit me for Sukkot, and on the airplane he had a Gemara he was reading. And the person, wow, you're such a scholar. They're not a scholar. In a normal Jewish community, it's not unusual to see people sitting down with books all the time. We don't brag about being scholars. It's simply the level of education which we demand from ourselves. Because that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu demands from us. We're called the people of the book. Imagine if the people of the book didn't have books. We would be the people of the Kindles. This would be, Talmud Torah, learning Torah is what makes us the nation that we are. And when we're so busy running for one thing and the next thing and the next thing, then our Torah learning is damaged first. So B'ezrat Hashem, contentment, to be content with what we have, is a very big step towards the direction of really connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a way that very few things on this earth hold me back from accomplishing the things that I need to accomplish. The less picky a person is, the less needy a person is, the less high maintenance a person is, the more versatile their life becomes. They can do a lot more things. I was talking to recently somebody who was looking for a job. So what can I do? I'll do anything. What mean anything? Anything. Anything that can bring me a livelihood home. That's not the answer I hear from most people. I know people that are unemployed, that if they had a job that was in their eyes beneath their dignity, and I'm not judging, it could be people have a lot more dignity than other people have, self-perceived dignity, they'd rather literally starve to death at home than, I don't know, be a cashier in a store, or drive a taxi or an Uber, or deliver packages. It's too hard for them. And that's true. That's the way people are. That's a condition. That's fine. But imagine if a person didn't have that hang up. They're so much more free to do all kinds of things. And in general, that's a class for another time. It's an American illness. What do you mean American? A Western illness. That your self-worth is directly connected to your career.
Oh.
You know, you ask me, what are you? Oh, me? I'm a doctor. Yeah, and no, that's what I do. I'm a famous doctor. Oh, okay, very good. And what else? I'm a surgical doctor. Okay, we got it. What else are you? Are you a father? Are you a husband? Do you have a life? Do you enjoy any hobbies? Are you a musician? No, I'm too busy lecturing at Harvard to have a life. You know? So you don't really have a life. So yes, you are a doctor, but that's all you are. You're really not good for anything else. I mean, people so much perceive who they are. They consider who they are based on what they do.
So their eulogies. He worked 12 hours a day. He never missed a day at work. You know, he punched his card every day. He never got to see his kids grow up. You know, I mean, if you really got to hear the truth,
that would be the truth. I remember when I was in a park in Manhattan. I was just sitting there. I was in New York with my brother and having to do, so I went to a park. I was there on a bench. I look around. All these kids. None of them with their parents.
Yeah.
All of them with their nannies. They're not talking to you at
New York,
12 o'clock in the afternoon. 3, 4, 5, 6, evening hours when kids normally come home from school and are hanging out with their nanny at the park. I was at a wedding in New York where I can tell the truth. The bride wished, she obviously didn't do that, she wished for her nanny to be the one to walk her down the aisle.
Oh my goodness.
She sat with her parents and her nanny at the same table. Because her nanny spent more time with her in her life than her parents did.
Right.
So her parents were nice doctors, rich Jewish lawyers, or whatever they were. But what were they for their family? They weren't there. They paid someone else to be the parents so that they can run around. And I'm not judging. Like I said, I don't judge anybody. I'm simply looking at it from the outside and how bizarre it seems. I was driving today. It was probably 7 o'clock. How many cars are still in all these cement office buildings around San Diego? 7 o'clock. It's dark already. What are you doing in an office building? Now, some people have a choice. Okay, I got it. But it's time that people stood up for their life to be a lot more than just what I do for a living.
The tech world is especially.
But it has to do with the way people feel about themselves, their own self-image.
That's absolutely.
So it's not just...
There's a famous tzaddik who's called Rabbi Avraham Mocher Yerakot. He was an Ashkenazi rabbi called Rabbi Avraham, the vegetable seller. They didn't even know he was a great rabbi until one day they found out about him. But if you look in the Chidad's Encyclopedia of Rabbis, he's considered one of the holiest rabbis in Ashkenaz. He's a man who he sold vegetables. That was his job. That what you did for a living, and what's wrong with selling vegetables? You don't cheat anybody. You don't steal from anybody. It's a simple business that runs. It's clean. What's the big deal? But today you say, oh, what do you? I sell vegetables. You're not an accountant? No, I sell vegetables, and I'm the greatest tzaddik of the generation. We can't have that combination anymore. People are so stuck on this understanding of what makes a person important. But we'll change it slowly.